Hey there, welcome to Pepper Geek. In today's video, I'll show you how to make a simple and delicious Fresno pepper hot sauce. This hot sauce has very simple ingredients, yet it ends up tasting complex and savory and delicious, and it really all comes down to how we prepare the ingredients. Before I get into the recipe, if you're interested in more of our hot sauces and other delicious spicy dishes, check out our cookbook, Cooking Perfect Peppers, in the first link in the description below. We have a bunch of hot sauce recipes from mild to super spicy and other amazing spicy dishes like our jalapeno popper mac and cheese and so many more. So if you're interested, check that out in the description below. With that, let's get into the recipe. So Fresno peppers are very similar to jalapeños. They have a little bit more heat, but the important difference is that when you buy them from the supermarket, they're always in their final ripe stage of red. In the case of jalapeños, it's really hard to find red ones at the store, so unless you're growing your own, Fresnos make a perfect alternative. So the ingredients in this recipe are very simple. We're gonna let the Fresno pepper shine. That beautiful sweetness that you get from red ripe peppers, we'll pair that with a red bell pepper and a few other simple ingredients to make a delicious hot sauce. So with that, let's get to the ingredients. First is the star of the show, a half a pound of red ripe Fresno peppers. This is about 9 chilies, but anywhere from 8 to 10 should do the trick. Next up is about half of a normal sized onion or 1 small onion. This one weighs around 4 ounces or a quarter pound. 1 large red bell pepper. You could use a yellow or orange bell, but don't use a green bell pepper. You want that sweetness of a ripe bell. 3 cloves of garlic, 2/3 of a cup of white vinegar, and for the spices, it's really simple. 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. If you don't have smoked paprika or you don't like the smoky flavor of it, you can just use normal paprika in its place. I'll talk a little bit more about spices that you can add towards the end of the video if you want to doctor this recipe up a little bit and experiment with the flavors. And lastly, just a bit of olive oil to cook the ingredients. So with that, let's get started preparing our ingredients. I'll start with the red bell. We just want to cut off the top and cut it into large chunks. No need to go dicing it up really finely. Just cut it into large chunks, maybe 4 to 6 pieces. Get rid of the stem and seeds. Same thing with the Fresnos. I'll cut off the tops and then slice them lengthwise and scoop out the seeds with a spoon. Fresnos do tend to have a lot more seeds than jalapenos, so I definitely recommend getting rid of them. Not to get rid of all of the heat, we will be losing some of that, but there should be plenty left to make this hot sauce nice and spicy. And I do recommend wearing gloves at this point because Fresnos can definitely give you a pretty nasty skin burn. If you don't wear gloves, make sure you wash your hands with dish soap right after you're done with the peppers. Now, as you can see, that's a lot of seeds, and some people like to leave these in the hot sauce. You will get more heat with that placenta in the center. However, we find that the seeds add a lot of bitterness, and that's a lot of seeds. Peel and crush the garlic cloves. No need to chop them. And for the onion, just cut it into large chunks. Once again, no need to dice it up finely. A few large chunks that we will sear up in a pan will do. Okay, so with the fresh ingredients all prepped up, let's get cooking. Bring a cast iron pan or a heavy bottomed pan to medium-high heat and add just a small drizzle of olive oil. Once the olive oil is shimmering, add the peppers and onions, skin side down for the peppers, and let them cook for anywhere between 4 to 6 minutes. You want to develop a nice black char on the outside of the skin. The bell peppers are likely to take longer than the Fresnos, so you can swap out Fresnos while the bell peppers continue to cook until everything is nice and charred. You may need to work in batches here depending on the size of your pan, but you want there to be a single layer of ingredients. You may also want to open a window during this process because Fresno peppers can release a lot of capsaicin into the air, especially when they're cooking at high temperatures. Once you have about 2 minutes left of cook time, throw the garlic in and get that nice and brown as well, and avoid burning it. Once your peppers have developed a nice coloring on both sides and they've softened quite a bit, you're ready to finish the sauce. Okay, so about 10 minutes of cooling and 10 minutes of coughing, and we're ready to finish this hot sauce. You can see they developed a beautiful charring on both sides, and they're nice and soft and pliable. So make sure you use a high-powered blender to make your hot sauces nice and smooth, and add all the cooked ingredients. Bell pepper, Fresnos, onion, and garlic going in. Salt and smoked paprika. And the 2/3 cup of vinegar We can always thin this out later, but you can't get liquid back out, so it's always better to start with less than more. And I like to start on low. Now you definitely want to give that a little time to settle before you open it up, but just look at that beautiful burnt orange, sort of amber color with those flecks of black from the charring that we did. It looks amazing, and the consistency is pretty good. I like where it's at. Definitely pourable. It will thicken up a bit when you put it in the refrigerator, so you can always adjust with a little bit of water or a little bit of white vinegar if needed. All that's left to do is give it a try. All right, moment of truth. That is such a versatile, smoky, rich flavor with a touch of sweetness from the red peppers and the cooked onions. It's garlicky, perfectly seasoned in my opinion. You could always add a little bit of salt or start with even less and add more as you need. And a quick note on spices, this recipe is intentionally simplified in that regard. We wanted to focus on the flavor of the red, ripe Fresno peppers and the red bell pepper. And after cooking them the way that we did, there is a lot of flavor in those ingredients alone. But if you wanted to spice this up a little bit, you could play with some spices like cumin, black pepper, oregano, maybe some thyme, some herbs, things along those lines. But I wouldn't recommend going too crazy. Start with the base recipe, and if you feel that it needs more, you can add it at this point, reblend, and taste. So from here, you could bottle this in hot sauce bottles or mason jars. You don't want to use anything that has a metal lid because of the vinegar. It will tend to corrode that metal, so I recommend you just get some woozy bottles or a plastic lid for your mason jars. If you do try this recipe, please head over to our website and give us a star rating. Let us know what you think of the recipe down in the comments at the bottom of the article. I'll leave that link down below. And don't forget to check out our video on crafting your own hot sauce recipes. If you have a garden and you like growing peppers, it's a great way to use those peppers and experiment for yourself in the kitchen. Check that out in the description below or up here. And thanks so much for watching Pepper Geek.